I'm Sarah Turner. I'm a freelance medical copywriter, and today I want to talk to you about where you can find and discover high paying clients and how you can charge what your writing is worth, which is something I'm so passionate about because I am just sick of writers charging rock bottom prices when they don't have to. Things like Upwork and Fiverr are a race to the bottom, and you don't have to join it. So many people reach out to me because they think, oh, I see somebody charging $10 for 1,000 words. I'll never be able to be a freelance writer and make good money. Guess what? They are in a race to the bottom. You don't have to be a part of that race. There are plenty of clients in this world who do not want rock bottom writers. They want really high quality writers. And they also, a lot of them want to work one-on-one with a writer. They don't want to work with content mills and not know the person behind the scenes because they want somebody who's going to know and understand their brand and really grasp the tone, the voice, their goals. And when you work with a content mill, you don't really get that. You get people usually end up with multiple writers, and there is inconsistencies throughout the content, throughout the copy, and a lot of clients really don't want that. So I'm here to tell you that you do not need to join that race to the bottom. So let's talk about where you can discover some of these awesome clients. First and foremost, not on Upwork. So go ahead and start really taking the time to think about who is your ideal client. And it amazes me how so many writers don't even take the time to do that. But if you don't know who you're looking for, you're not going to find them. So just like anyone who would take the time to create an avatar for your client's audience, which is something that you should be doing as a writer, like taking the time to really understand who you're writing for. You got to take the time and do that for your writing clients. So you got to know what they look like, who they are, what they're trying to do with their business, who they're trying to reach, what their goals are, and that is going to help you look in better places. So some of my favorite places to look for high quality clients are Facebook groups. Where are they hanging out? Are they hanging out in self-help groups on Facebook? Maybe they have a Shopify store, so they're in a Shopify Facebook group. Maybe they are hanging out in a ClickFunnels group. Maybe they're hanging out in some other form of marketing group or business group. Maybe, so just start looking on Facebook for groups that your ideal client might be working in. Another thing you can use is the Facebook algorithm, which I really love. How everybody always is talking about, oh my gosh, it's like my phone actually heard me. Well, you can actually use that to your advantage when you are a freelance writer. You can start searching for what your ideal client would be. Maybe it's keto products. So you start looking for keto products. What you're going to start to notice is that you're going to start getting ads for things that are related to your searches. And when that happens, you can start finding new brands. And when people are paying for ads, that means they're also likely willing to pay for a copywriter. So start saving those ads. Even if you're not looking for clients, I love to save ads that are within my niche for inspiration, for swipe files, but also for one day when I'm like, you know what, I'd really like to beef up my client base right now. I can already have some saved ads to go look at and find. Another great one is Groupon. Anyone who's on Groupon is actively looking to grow their business. So when people are actively looking to grow their business, they're more likely to hire copywriters. So that's another good one. So just what I always encourage people to do is to keep the part of your business where you're actively looking for clients always active. Even if you don't need clients right now, start to keep digging a little bit here and there with those techniques and keep a file where you keep lists of names of brands or people who are within your niche who would be good clients at some point in the future. Start following them on Facebook. See what groups they're in. Find the CEO of an e-commerce store or of, whatever it is within your niche. Start following those people on Facebook and seeing where they're hanging out online. Those are also really good ways to continue to grow your client base, but also to not do it all at once, make it an ongoing process. And don't be afraid to reach out if you think they already have a copywriter, because so often I have reached out to these people and found that they're writing the copy themselves and they've been looking for a copywriter, or their copywriter is on their way out the door because they have another opportunity, or their sister has been writing their copy and doing an okay job, but it's not really what she needs to be doing. So never hesitate. When you find an ideal client, don't hesitate to reach out to them. Another place you can look for high paying clients are look at conferences that they're hanging out. So use the one ideal client and start to see who they're interacting with, what conferences they're speaking at, what masterminds they're going to, what workshops they're interacting with. And then when you go to those different things, you'll start to find more and more people, and it can kind of spider web its way out. And that's a great way to find other ideal clients. And I recommend reaching out through cold email, but really, really thoughtful cold emails where you offer a lot of value, you show an understanding, and you tap into their reticular activating system by mentioning something that's relevant to their life. Maybe you saw that they're on Groupon, or you saw an article that they wrote, but making sure that you make a genuine connection. Because when you are looking to break out of the rat race of Upwork and Fiverr and the race to the bottom as a writer, you're gonna have to just go for the top. You're gonna have to go straight for the top, identify and find your ideal client, and then reach out to them. Offer value, show them how you're going to solve their problems, and that is how you're going to build a rock solid client base of really amazing clients. And now I want to touch on real quick charging what you're worth, because this is another area where I see people struggle. Do not compare yourself to people who are charging pennies for their work. That is not the way to charge what you're worth. So I always encourage people to think about what you think your writing is worth and charge a little bit more, because one, we tend to bash ourselves a little bit, be a little hard on ourselves, and so we don't usually, naturally charge what we're worth. So add that as a little cushion, but also I have found one of the fastest ways for me to grow as a writer is to charge slightly above, so that I can bring on an editor. I can bring on another copywriter who specializes in a type of copy I'm trying to get better at. So I charge what the value of the project is going to be, and I'm able to bring on experts so that I can grow my skills and become a better writer. So charging what the project is worth, not what you think your skill level is at, and then meeting that price. So that's another way that you grow. Like when I did my first white paper, I charged what the white paper was going to be worth because I, did my research, but I had never written a white paper before. I was honest about that. But I hired a copywriter who had written white papers before. They went over it with me. They gave me their feedback. I also hired an awesome editor. She helped me too. And I was growing and learning, but I wasn't charging less because I didn't know what I was doing. I was charging exactly what that white paper was worth, and then I was meeting it. In fact, I probably exceeded it because I brought in other people to help me grow, to help me be better, and to make sure that my work was the value that I charged for it. So that's another way to kind of grow as a copywriter and still bring maximum value to your client's work. So charge what you're worth. Two main things for charging what you're worth that I always recommend is one, never charge by the hour, and two, always have a project minimum. And here's what I mean about both of those. One, don't charge by the hour, because then you're in a conversation with the person that you're working with about how long things should take. And guess what? When you're a writer, some days you're gonna blow through things and just be crushing it. And other days it's going to be an absolute struggle to get through the day. It is just the nature of our work. So talking about hours when you're a writer, it just doesn't make any sense. Not to mention you are putting yourself in the employee mindset when you do that. You're giving them more leverage. You're saying that your work is it's not about the value of the work that you're bringing to the table. So never charge by the hour, always charge by the project, and you will be able to include also in your pricing the amount of time it takes to actually run your business, like responding to emails, administrative work, all of that stuff. That needs to be built into your pricing. So again, charging by the hour as a freelancer just doesn't make sense. And I feel so strongly about that, as you can probably tell. So charge what you're worth, but also never charge by the hour. And then having a project minimum is another thing that I have learned over the years that is helped me tremendously. So I have a project minimum, meaning there is a price that I won't go below. And that helps especially in copywriting because some people will charge like $50 for an email. So my project minimum is $200. And when I say what I mean by that is I won't do anything less than $200. But I can batch work. So maybe they want emails from me, but it will be a few emails. And each email is like $75, but we're gonna write 5 emails. Boom, we reached my project minimum. And basically the reason you want a project minimum is because every time you sit down to write something, that takes time. And so when you aren't batching your work or you're writing like one $50 project over here, one $50 project over there, that for every project you do, that's administrative work, that is emails and editing, and it all adds up. So when you make sure that you're either getting your clients to bundle projects so that it's all done under one thing. Sometimes what that looks like is if they want me to write newsletters or just little intro emails to introduce like blogs or things like that. And obviously I'm not going to charge $200 for a little intro, but I'll say, hey, I'll write 2 for $200. And I write them both at the same time. And then I give them to the client at the same time. So that cuts down on my administrative work and it cuts down on the amount of time I sit down to actually do something because I'm incorporating batching into my pricing basically. So I hope that makes sense because it has been a huge time saver for me and it's prevented me from taking on lots of little projects, which again just suck up all your time and energy. So never charge by the hour and always have a project minimum. And those are 2 big pieces of advice I have for all freelance writers when it comes to charging what you're worth. So I hope that helps. Hang in there. I believe in you. I know that being a writer is tough and hard work, but what you got to do is make sure you are making it worth it. Always go and stretch yourself by going a little bit beyond what you think you're capable of and then meeting the value and the pricing that you've promised a client. And that might mean asking for help. In fact, a lot of times when you're starting out, it does mean asking for help, but you're going to grow so much faster because of it. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you liked today's video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. That tells me what you like to see, and I can create more of it. And you can feel free to leave a comment where you can leave suggestions, ideas, or recommendations. I respond to every comment, so be on the lookout for an answer from me shortly. And then if you want to learn more about being a freelance copywriter and building a successful business, go ahead and click the link in the description, and that will take you to my website where you can enter your email and get insider tips from me straight to your inbox. Thanks for watching.